It's been another very red week in the CS2 skin market. Just after things went sideways for a few days and seemed to be cooling down, we're back in the downtrend that we've been going through for months. If you zoom out, it definitely doesn't look pretty, but you have to keep an eye on certain skins. The Op Asmov, very liquid skin that I mentioned before, is at the pre-hype level that I like to call it. It's at 749 CNY right now according to Cantry.dev, and that's the same area I was at right before things started taking off in price. Personally, this is a level where I don't see things going much lower in price. And as I've said before, pre-CS2 hype levels are probably a good spot to be buying, fundamentally for the long term. Despite the dropping player count over the past few months and the dropping prices, big updates are of course still on the way, and I've said it 100 times. Players are going to cycle back in, and as I'm sure you guys know, once we get through all the rough patches, this game is going to be in great shape. Not only a huge boost to the player count, but a huge boost in people spending money. I mean, we've still got skins that are completely broken. Buying with the hype is an easy thing to do mentally, but buying at low prices when things are dry and the game is boring is a good thing to do fundamentally. But before we continue, where to actually buy skins. CSGOEmpire has a ton of skins listed at cheaper than buff price, and you might be thinking, isn't that a gambling site? Partially, but not entirely. They have an entire marketplace dedicated to peer-to-peer buying and selling with 0% fees, and if you sort by the best deals, you'll easily find stuff cheaper than buff. As you can see here, these gloves are 3.36% off. You can easily flip them for profit, and Empire also offers any deposit method you could think of, including many different cryptos and real money options. And you're able to withdraw with all of these options, including USDC, which you could turn to cash instantly. Of course, there's no wager requirement on any deposit either, so be sure to check them out with that link in the description and start getting skins for cheaper than buff today. So a good way of knowing that the market is oversold in some skins is a price differential in some skins trends. Going back to the Op Asmov, it's just down all the way to pre-hype levels, while something like an AK Bloodsport is nowhere close to pre-hype levels. Like, it's still 10 to 12% above those levels still, and the chart doesn't look anywhere near as scary. Does that mean the AK Bloodsport has room to drop an extra 10 to 12%, or at least some more room in price? Sure, but it also just shows how big of a hit the Op Asmov has taken already, relative to other, maybe not liquid skins, but just play skins. Now, this doesn't mean every single skin is going to crash back down to the Asmov's level. Liquid skins are going to get hit harder usually off overall market downtrends, plus a bit of panic selling in there. You'll note that Gamma Dopplers, for example, and Dopplers in most phases have held up really well. And that's stuff I was saying at the very beginning of this downtrend. They seem to not be as phased by this whole downtrend, panic selling, whatever you want to call it. So it's good to see that's continued the way it has. And I don't think we're going to suddenly see them fall off a cliff unless Valve nerfs the way they actually look, which I doubt at this point. So once again, don't think every single skin is going to have the same exact trend as something liquid like the Asmov or just any other skin. Everything is different. But going back to fundamentals, for whatever reason, people are still degenning cases hard, opening over 40 million in the past month, which you'd think is great, and it normally would be because that's double what was being unboxed a year ago every month. But sellers are still overwhelming that sector in the market. And you'll note the cases with more liquidity and higher supply, like the clutch case, are getting completely hammered still, since it was removed from the drop pool really recently. So there's still a ton of supply out there for the clutch case. Well, the CS20 case, for example, that's been gone from the drop pool for years, has barely moved in price over the past month and really hasn't dropped that much at all. It's down like 3 cents from a month ago as of today, and I'm pretty sure that's from just somebody selling them in bulk. Yesterday was at 61 cents, which is the exact same price it was at a month ago, pretty much. So on the flip side, note that when hype started with CS2, the clutch case went from that 30-cent range was at to $1.67 peak on Steam, so over a 5x in price. Now you'll note really interestingly that the CS20 case had a very similar price percentage increase. It hasn't crashed nearly as hard though, it's still at like $1 on the Steam market, and it just goes back to showing how cases with more supply are gonna get hit way harder. And I think it also shows that they'll have much more room to grow in price when the next wave of hype eventually comes. Obviously, they got hit much harder, but they still had that same price increase. So when this downtrend is over, and when the next hype wave comes, both will probably be at the same time because it'll be based off a big update happening. keep that in mind. Certain things got hit really hard, but at the same price percentage increase as the things that haven't dropped as much in price right now. So if something got hit really hard and it has good fundamentals, it wouldn't be a bad spot to be buying in. So what would I buy right now? Well, I'm not too picky about the stuff I've been getting. It definitely varies. I'm obviously going to hold all my cases throughout this, but regarding skins, I've got a Bayonet Doppler. Once again, just going back to the fact that I think they're going to hold up a lot better than, I don't know, Forest, DD patch, just random stuff. The same goes with the Gut Gamma Doppler that I got. By the way, I get to withdraw skins from one of my sponsors, which is how I got these skins. I'm not just going out there and buying a Bayonet Doppler and a Gut Gamma Doppler, but I am choosing them and picking them out specifically with the price charts in mind. I always check the prices before withdrawing. I also got an Op Asmo field tested for obvious reasons that I've already covered in the video, an Op Graphite. Once again, it's at those pre-CS2 hype levels. I don't think it's going to fall too much more in price. And same goes with the P2000 Ocean Foam that I got. It's a skin I wanted, but it's just something safe I could put my money in. I'll eventually probably sell it, trade it, or just do something else with it because I know it's not going to blow up in price, but I do think it will be pretty stable. Maybe once we get that new operation and everything finally finishes out dumping, I could exchange it for maybe cases if they really go down in price more, or the new operation case, whatever it might be. But I also got Shadow Dagger's Gamma Doppler, going back to the same reason of Gamma Doppler just being good, not really crashing, holding up well. So don't just think I'm just sitting back and not buying anything off this massive dip. Sure, I wasn't buying like right when it started, but these past 2 weeks I've picked up pretty much every single skin I believe I just listed. Maybe not the Op Asmo, but the vast majority of them I picked up in the past 2 weeks simply because, I mean, the dip was massive. And in that sponsored account, I can withdraw money whenever I want. Like, I don't have to withdraw it right as I get it. I could accumulate it. So I've been accumulating it and then just getting the skins as I feel like we're at a level where you could comfortably buy quite a few things as they're at that pre-CS2 hype level. And also realize that I'm planning to hold these things for like a year minimum. I don't really think the crash is over, to be completely honest with you. I don't think it's going to be over until we get the new update that brings players back and brings hype back, but once again, I do think it's a fair level to buy. Going to be holding for a year, so I'm not really worried. I do think prices are going to be higher in a year if it even takes that long. But yeah, I do think that wraps it up for this one. Once again, if you want to go buy skins, do it on CSGOEmpire, and be sure to get them for cheaper than buff price on there. You will find a lot of amazing deals. Link at the top of the description. And of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. But for now, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.